Here we're being given a function, sine of 2x, and we're asked 4 true or false questions about that function. Before we can answer any of the 4 questions, let's examine what the graph of sine of 2x would look like. It would be because of this 2, it would be a horizontally compressed version of the sine function by a factor of 2. Therefore, it would have a period of pi, and I can label my y-axis, my x-axis, accordingly. Now let's get to the questions in the problem. The first one is asking, true or false, the function is increasing on the interval from pi over 2 to pi. Well, pi over 2 would be halfway to pi, and here's the function on that interval. That's not increasing the whole way. It's increasing for part of it, but it would be a false statement to say that it is increasing on that interval, because it's only increasing on part of that interval. Here's the next true-false question. F is increasing on the interval from 3 pi over 4 to 9 pi over 8. Well, 3 pi over 4 is pretty easy to find. It is, after all, 3/4 of the way to pi. But where's 9 pi over 8? Well, let me share some thoughts that crossed my mind. 9 divided by 8 is 1 1/8. So in my mind, I'm thinking of this as 1 1/8 pi, or something just a little bit bigger than pi. Watching the x-axis, here's the next thing that crossed my mind. This local maximum here would occur at 5 pi over 4. I thought of that because of it. It's 1 1/4 pi, essentially 1 1/4 periods past the origin. Now this problem's not asking about 5 pi over 4, but because that's 1 1/4 pi, then 1 1/8 pi would be in between pi and that. And now I've sort of deduced I have deduced where 9 pi over 8 is. It's between pi and 5 pi over 4. And now that I know where 9 pi over 8 is, I can go back to the true-false question, is the function increasing on that interval? And yes, it is increasing on that entire interval, and therefore that statement is true. For the third question, the interval from 0 to pi over 2 is here. The function is increasing for part of that interval and decreasing for other parts of it. Therefore, it would be a false statement to say that it's increasing on the entire interval. And for the last question, negative 3 pi over 4 would be here, essentially 3/4 of the way to negative pi. They want to know if the function is increasing on that interval, and yes, it clearly is increasing on that entire interval. Therefore, that statement is true. And that completes the problem.